The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Nick Eatman.
Good morning. Welcome to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. Wednesday, December 17th. Had a day off yesterday to do some stuff in the community, but we're back here like we are mostly, I would say every Tuesday. I mean, every day at 10 a.m., but not yesterday. But here today, let's do this thing. Let's get it going. Cowboys, Chargers, hanging on for dear life for the playoffs. I think there's a 1% chance to make the playoffs. Cue the Jim Carrey line if you want from Dumb and Dumber, but Chargers are inching very close to making the playoffs. The Cowboys are about the same from being eliminated. But, hey, there's still a chance, and let's do it. All right, let's go to the phone lines like we always do. Albert in Tucson, Arizona's first. Albert, what's up, man?
Nick, my man, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm better.
You're better? You've been better?
Yeah, but I'm like how you said in my last call. You know, it's like a roller coaster. You know, they come Wednesday, you'll be back.
Oh yeah,
I'll be back.
Yep.
Just real quick. I know we got a quick, fast show, but since you're there, you get to see the body languages of the players and even Jerry and Steven and everybody. You know, these last two games had big impacts on our playoffs and our Super Bowl chances. Can you kind of give us a feel of what it's like around there right now? And
all right,
with that,
all right, I appreciate that. You know, it's I'll do the best I can. You know, we're not around the team and players as much as you might think. Kind of, it's a big building, so then they're on one side of it. You kind of see them at the lunch area or whatever, and everyone's excited to eat, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I know what you're saying, and you know, I think going into the Detroit game, there was a lot of excitement about that. I think it was a tired team. I'm not giving an excuse. I think they were. I mean, obviously 4 games, 17 days is going to do that to you. They played that way. And then I thought that they came back with 10 days rest and had pretty good energy against Minnesota. And so and it started out well. I mean, the first drive you're seeing different things we haven't seen. This kind of blitz. We're seeing a special teams play that you haven't seen before on the fake reverse. And even the offense has got a couple of wrinkles. But then once that wore off and then it became a game again, it looked like Minnesota had more juice. Now, to answer your question about now and how they are, we really haven't seen them. Day off yesterday. Haven't seen the players. We'll see what kind of bounce and you know they've got in their step for this game coming up. The Chargers are coming in here. They've won 6 of 7. They're ready to clinch a playoff spot and to see what the Cowboys can do. I mean, they could be eliminated from the NFC East title before they even play because Philly plays Washington on Saturday. So we'll see. It's hard to get a pulse on that, but they're professionals, and I think is what Shoddy is probably the right person to keep them. With the right frame of mind going into this game. All right, let's go Marlon in San Diego. He's a first-time caller. Marlon, what's up?
Hey, Nick. How you doing? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you for taking the call this morning. Just wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. I'm an old-school divisional guy. I just want, winning in our division. So as long as we escape the season with a winning record in our division, even though we won't win it, obviously. I'm a happy camper, and I like the progression that the team made this year with all the peaks and valleys. But if we can get back to just running and defense for the next year, it'd be a plus. And I just wanted to know what you thought our key move would be for the off season. And I know it's a broad question, but I'll hang up and listen.
All right.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Marlon, thanks for joining the community here, Cowboys Storylines. Always good to hear from a first-time caller, especially ones in California where it's a lot earlier than it is here. So thanks for doing that. Sounds like you're up and moving. It's a fair question. I know I understand where this is that transition where, we got 3 games to play, but, for the callers of this show and really any Cowboys podcast, I mean, they're diehards. They're dying hard here. And yeah, they want to win this game. They're going to watch, but you also have an eye towards the future as well. That's how you got here in the first place, probably. So, what kind of things that they've got to do, to get better? I don't think that necessarily is a question just for next year. It's a question for now. What about this team hasn't been good enough? And, I think you have to start with defense. I mean, the offense is one of the best in the league. And the defense, it just was terrible. I mean, it just is. It's not good. They don't get any pass rush. And I believe that's where it starts. I just think it starts there. It starts with the pass rush. They don't have a lot of outside rush. It's not consistent, and it forces the linebackers to make plays, and they're not always making plays for the Cowboys. And then your secondary has to cover a lot longer. They put a lot of stock in some of these young corners, some that I've never actually seen play well, and so I don't. Sometimes you look at it, you're like, I don't know what they see in this guy, and so there's some. All across the board, they've got to get better on defense. But I think if it starts with pass rush, then everything else should be able. You can kind of get by with that a little bit more than the other way around. But that's where I would kind of go with that as well. All right, we have a YouTube chat question. We don't do that a whole lot. But Sean Hawkins, 7430, asked if Philly wins, will Dallas be done for the season? They definitely will be done for the playoffs as far as winning the NFC East. As far as I don't think that they will be eliminated. Because teams can still tie. That's what's kind of interesting about it, is that if you get a tie in here in the next couple games, and let's say they win out and the right things happen for them to lose and then tie, then maybe there would be some kind of chance. But right now it just says that they're not eliminated because they still have a chance to win the NFC East. But if that happens, they could be. I haven't gotten into all of the literally tie breakers from everything, but let's just say it's not looking good. Okay, it doesn't look good at all. All right, let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Crown Royal and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing back the Royal Rig for Season 2. See it in action at AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving Day, where the Dallas Cowboys take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and around Dallas on November 26th and November 28th. Visit crownroyal.com to see where else the Royal Rig is stopping this NFL season. That's crownroyal.com. Please drink responsibly.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. Cowboys taking on the Chargers this week for the final home game of the 2025 season at AT&T Stadium. Obviously, 2 games after it on the road, Christmas Day in Washington, and then the New York Giants in January. That game is probably going to be January the 4th, but they do have that flex schedule there that goes Thursday. They go Saturday or Sunday. They do play a game or 2 on the January 3rd. I wouldn't think the Cowboys and Giants would be one they would want to put on there. But then again, Cowboys and Giants, I mean, that's been the marquee game for the opener of the season. I don't know if it's one they would want to close it out, but we'll see. But those are the 3 games that the Cowboys have going on here. All right, so lines are open here on Cowboys Storyline. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. Chris, you said we had a caller. We do not have one right now. Okay.
No.
Chris? All right, cool. All right, well, you know what? Cowboys, I hate to say that the fans, you guys aren't tanking the season. I know that's not happening. But it's one of those times where you're in that trend, just like I talked about with the transition, where it's like, are you looking for next year? Are you looking, these last 3 games? Is there a chance? Are you going to hold out hope? I know the Cowboys prepare that way. That's how they're going to go prepare for this game coming up against the Chargers, because they have to, and that's how they're going to prepare all the games. Now, are you going to start to see some different players playing? Yeah, probably, and that's probably because, there's guys that are injured. They're banged up. Maybe some of them are hurt, but still able to play and playing through some of these things. But if you are eliminated, then okay, maybe you do have that cleanup surgery that you were trying to have, or maybe you do have you do go and just rest for the final couple of games. So we'll see. What happens with this team as far as injuries go. And big question, I got asked this morning on the show is what about Dak? Is Dak going to play? And me personally, and it's not just about me. I would like to see him play, but and I think he wants to play. Is that the smart move? That's a question, that different fans are going to have different answers for. So, but I personally think you go out there and you're obligated to go out there and play, and if you can't, and it's not about tanking, it's not about draft. To me, it's about going out there and trying to get better. And I know fans don't agree with that. Some don't, because they know they're going to be here next year. They want the better pick. They don't want their guy to get hurt. I get all that. To me, I feel like it's a little bit bigger than that. It's more of an obligation to go out there and do what you're supposed to do. All right, let's go to Josh in Chicago.
Hey, heard the phone lines were open. I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Is that? You can. I'd hope for you to call just so you have something to say. But if not, that's okay.
I kind of actually wanted to bring up the combo from last week a little bit about is it failing if we don't make the playoffs?
Yeah.
And then CD's comments, because I was kind of with you. I like CD's comments, but I kind of agree with Rob too, right? And I think it can be both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the goal is always to win the trophy, to win the Lombardi at the end, right? But you can also grow and learn as you go, right? And especially when you're talking about a new head coach, I think that both things can be true at the same time. You can learn and grow, and it can be a failure overall of, hey, we didn't accomplish our end goal, but hey, we still grew, and that's always good too. So that's what I wanted to say the other day on Monday, but I didn't want to reignite that whole combo after the game. So
well, Josh, I think you're a smart guy. I don't think you've probably failed any classes in school.
No, I never did actually.
Yeah. Well, I actually did. I actually failed my last class. It was botany. I don't know why I took stupid. Well, I don't even know why. I needed some science. That was the worst one I could have taken, and I failed it. But guess what? Took it again, and that's what this is. Is this season a failure? Okay, just like most of the teams, that aren't going to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl, it's a failure.
Sure, yeah.
Take it again. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay, what else can you do? It doesn't matter what you call it. You're going to line them up and play it again next time. I think the question, though, was more about Shoddy. And what's Shoddy done this year? Has it been successful for him as a first-year coach? Really what you're asking is he the right hire? Has he been a good hire here? And that's what I think this is really what the genesis of the question was.
Yeah, and I think so far he has, right? Especially for being an offensive mind guy. I mean, we're getting the best out of Dak that we've seen.
Right.
And even under McCarthy, sure, 2023 Dak was awesome, but there were still up and down years under McCarthy with Dak.
Yeah.
And I think Shoddy is really bringing out the best of him. And even a lot of the run game stuff, right? I know it's kind of up and down, and we want to see more running in games, but a lot of the run game has been better, too. Like, I kind of wonder, if we had Rico still, or Tony even, like Tony Pollard, how would this run game look? Because it looks good, and I think Javonte's awesome. I want to keep it. I would keep Javonte over Pickens, to be honest with you. I just think that there's some other wide receiver options, and I think Javonte's just proven that he's got a lot left. And his pass pro is so good, man. It's just like you can't teach that to every running back, and not every running back. Malik Davis. Yeah, I will say, like, I know Malik Davis gave up a pressure, and people were kind of on him in the Vikings game. But you know what? He's not the biggest guy, and he still stuck his nose in there a lot. And that's a willingness to at least hold up somebody for a little bit and give Dak a little bit more time, right? So I like the way Davis played, even in pass pro. It wasn't the best, but it was still, a willing blocker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I got a question for you, too. All right. If you could bring anyone back from the writing team, from the podcast team, to be a co-host with you on the storyline, who would it be, and why is it Rob Phillips?
It's got to be Rob Phillips, right? I mean, anyone from the podcast team from, yeah, I mean it's gonna be Rob Phillips. I mean, like Rob's the only one of that group that I actually like hung out with like a couple of nights ago, with his family and all that. And so Rob's got a book coming out, by the way, a novel. It comes out in March, so I'm excited about that. He won a contest. He had submitted his basically in the manuscript, and it won, and now he's got it published and everything. I mean, he's rolling over there. So that's what maybe I'll bring Rob in. Maybe that'll happen. We'll bring him in to co-host in the off season or something like that. He's got nothing going on other than that. All right, Josh, good stuff. Thanks for the call. Let's go Lester in Minnesota. Lester, what's up, man?
Morning, Nick.
Morning. How you doing?
Man, I'm taking heat up here in Minnesota, man.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah. Well,
I'm very disappointed in my boys, but you know what? Life goes on.
I know. Yeah, it sucks when you lose to a quarterback that's not very good. Like, and the Cowboys have done it all year long. It's just the sign. I mean, it's one thing if you get carved up by one of the best ones, and this could definitely happen this week with Herbert, but. Man, when you lose to a guy that is doing the gritty across your goal line like that, like, it's not good.
Yeah, man. I just think that, if we want to keep Pickens or whomever we want to keep, and I know we're over the salary cap, but like I've been saying all along, it's called creative financing, and it can be done, restructure, and there's a lot of ways you can do it, but one way is restructure. So we can keep Pickens if we want, and others. Mike, I have a question about Diggs and Guyton. What's going on with them? And then I'll hang up, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. I mean, the Trayvon Diggs situation it's gotten to it's just kind of it's ridiculous stage right now. I mean, nobody seems to kind of know. You're just getting different answers. I mean, you get well, he's injured. He's on injured reserve. He's not ready. His 21-day window, the ramp-up session started, I don't know, I think it's 18 days ago or whatever. I think he can go all the way to Saturday or Friday of this week, and then they got to make a decision whether they put him on the roster or they put him on IR for the rest of the year. He thinks he's ready. He says he is. Now, he's not the first player ever that's injured that says he's ready to go that isn't. I mean, like, so that thing happens. He did practice all week. It did look like he was ramping up to play, and then he didn't play in the game. Will he play in this one? I'm not sure. I personally believe there's more to it. There's more behind-the-scenes contract type clauses in here about getting hurt or not playing a certain amount of game. I don't know. It's got to be more than just we don't think you're really ready to go and you're not as good as the other players. It can't be that. It can't be that because we've seen some of the other corners and you know that Trayvon can step in and play better than that. But as for Guyton, same thing. You know, Guyton's on IR. They could bring him back. They haven't. No, I'm sorry. Guyton is not on IR. The question is he could have gone. He could have gone to IR, and he didn't. This would be his fourth game if he misses, so he could come back and play. Sorry, I got my guys confused there. But Tyler Guyton could come back and play. We'll see what happens. On Wednesday's a really big practice day. We'll see if he can kind of do something, if he can maybe be limited, and then he can kind of work his way into playing. But I think, you know, he's a young guy that needs to play. So does Nate Thomas, but I definitely think you'd like to see a little bit more from Guyton, and because you got to make a decision there on what you're going to do with your offensive line. I know I said on the last caller about which spot do you have to go fix and get in the draft and all that, and it should be a lot of defensive help, but you can't overlook an offensive tackle either. If there's an offensive tackle that's sitting there that you think can come right in and be better than any of the guys you've got, then you got to do that. You got to draft them. You got to get an offensive tackle, because I think that's the one thing about this offense that probably slowed you down a little bit, was some too much pressure there, especially on the edge. All right, let's go to break again on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back after this.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for you. Gillette's Best Shave has a new look this season, and they've got one that sticked out in Cowboys colors just for us. We're going to want to run, not walk to this one, y'all. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor isn't just Gillette's best shave. With 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, it's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave is also available as heated.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette. It is Wednesday, December 17th, and I know we usually taped our TV show on Tuesday. We didn't have a show, obviously, yesterday. Did some work in the community, Salvation Army. I mean, I did some work. Now, the guy that was doing work, if you can be surprised by this, the guy that was doing work was Chris Beam. I mean, shocker over here. I mean, you should have seen this guy. It was magic. He was working the lines, and this was the line where the cars come in and they pick up their angel tree bags and stuff for their family. So it's really cool to be able to do that and kind of basically deliver it to them. And I mean, Chris, did you ever work the drive-through before, or ever any other job? Because I mean, he had that.
Never worked the drive-through.
Dude, you had that thing going, man.
I can work people.
Oh, he was.
Because I do it every day.
Okay.
Think about many people I have to bring in and out of this place, right?
It's true. You were getting these cars going through.
It's every 45 minutes I'm bringing people out. You guys got to get out. You got to get in. Yes.
Yeah. And I was one of the 30 people in the back, just kind of, you know. I did some stuff, but it wasn't, you know, I didn't have a prominent role like Chris did. But it's also kind of to your personality, too. Like, you're not going out there just standing around. You're gonna run this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Easy there, bro.
All right, let's go.
I don't want to have to edit a show today.
Yeah. Too late on that one. All right, Chris in San Angelo, what's up?
Hey, not much. How are you doing, Mr. Newton?
I'm good.
Cool. And I can see that Chris was the main man, but I bet you did something too.
I kind of had my own little neighborhood of carts, and I knew where stuff was a little bit, but not to the point where, you know, Chris is actually weaving through the traffic and all that. But honestly, I say that, but it puts a lot of things in perspective. It really does, as far as, like, you know, when you realize what is happening, what the process is. People are driving up. They're able to, like, you know, be able to provide, you know, some Christmas for their kids and their family, and that's what the Salvation Army does. And so to be a part of it, just for a few hours there, and know how big, you know, how important it is, it's awesome. So sorry, I know that's not why you called. But
no, that's cool. That's man. You know, I've got to do some stuff like that. Very rewarding stuff.
It is.
And I hope that, you know, it makes you feel better sometimes than the people you're doing it for. So that's really great. I'm glad you got to do that.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing we do every year. So,
where I was going to go, I was kind of going to. I know you talked about Javonte Williams a little bit earlier. I'm going to kind of double up on that. And if it turns out, Nick, that the Cowboys are kind of, I guess you could say, playing out the string. And now maybe that's kind of a negative way of putting it, but you know what I mean. Just kind of like they're just going through the motions. I really like. I would think that if Javonte, if that's like another Rico Dowdle type situation, I would go ahead and I would sign him. And one of the reasons is because make an example of somebody who, this team has been preaching culture, all season. And if Javonte isn't part of that right culture, then I kind of question what your culture is. Now, that's just my opinion from what I see looking out. But I do think you need to probably get another running back in there just to soften the load. I was just going to see what you thought about that one.
Yeah, I think thanks for the call, Chris, because it's a really – I think that one is probably just as tricky as the Pickens situation. Not as much money, but here's why. What side do you want to take here? If you want to you want to argue either side. You want to take the side that you just talked about, culture? Definitely. Javonte Williams comes in. He does everything that you wanted him to do. He's having a great season. Not only is he running hard between the tackles or anytime you give him the football, but he also, he's picking up blitzes. He's doing everything. He's playing. He's been banged up, but he plays through stuff. He's tough as nails. He's everything that you want, and he's really had a remarkable season. On the flip side to that, all right, well, he's a guy that's never had 1,000 yards. Comes here. He's got these great receivers and quarterback around him, and he had a really great year. What happened the year before? Well, Rico Dowdle never had a 1,000-yard season. Comes here, gets in, runs behind this offensive line, 1,000-yard season. The year before that, Tony Pollard had another 1,000-yard season, and so you can look at it and say, well, is it really Javonte, or is it just what we have here? Do we really need to pay the market that Javonte is about to get? Or do we just get another guy in here? And so I don't like that approach. I don't think it's good for the person, that what Javonte's done in the position and all that. But it's a cutthroat position in a cutthroat league, obviously at running back. And so the smart business move there is to say, well, let's pay him this, but not go crazy. They did that. 12 years ago or 11 years ago with DeMarco Murray. He kills 1,800 yards rushing, and they offered him a deal, but it was nothing close to what he got on the market, so he left. And, they didn't miss him, really. I mean, not really. I mean, they did end up drafting Zeke. I guess you could say that they did. But, I mean, he didn't have a great year there as well. So, anyways, running back's really, really tough to figure out. All right, let's go to Rob in Vegas. Rob, what's up, man? Rob, you there?
Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's up, man?
I know what you're saying about you can't sit the players, but I wish they would. I mean,
all of them, everyone.
Anybody that I know is playing next year, and I don't think it's going to happen Sunday because they're going to find out probably too late. Philly plays Saturday.
Yeah.
But Sunday I would not play Javonte Williams. He's got a bad shoulder. Sorry, you're out for the rest of the year. Because I have to see what Blue can do. Or is that just another wasted pick? I wouldn't play Quinnen Williams anymore. He'd be out for the rest of the year with concussion. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
And
I know that.
And
I know that.
Let me cut you off. I agree with that. Okay, I agree with the banged up player, especially knowing that Washington's a short week and all this stuff. I agree with the banged up player that it doesn't necessarily make sense. So I'm with you when it comes to that. You're right.
But here's the big problem with this team. The draft is so important to the Cowboys because they do not spend in free agency correctly. They will not go for it in free agency. So the draft is everything. If they have a bad draft, they're done. And spots matter. If you lose the last 3 games, you probably go to maybe 10. If you win, it could change so much. And like I said, if they were willing to spend money in free agency, it wouldn't be a big deal, but they don't. They use the draft to build a team. They use free agency to put in pieces where it should be the other way around.
Well, but I'm going to push back a little bit. I mean, I get you on free agency, but don't you think there's been a little bit more in between this year with the trades? I mean, they made
Well, yeah, because he had to. Because he blew it with Micah. You know, you never get rid of this guy. But
they were making trades all off season though. They added Elam,
well,
they added Murray,
they added
Pickens. I mean, they were trying. Some of them worked, some of them did not.
No. I'm not saying they don't try. They just don't try hard enough.
Yeah, well, maybe
they do it. You know, we've had this conversation on Storyline and stuff about, is this a rebuild? I'm sorry, you don't rebuild a team with a quarterback like Dak, receivers. You reload, and you keep rebuilding, and all of a sudden you're going to blink, and these guys are old. These guys are done.
Yeah.
So I don't want Dak to play, but I know he's going to play because I like to see if Milton could actually be a backup quarterback. I have no idea. I like to see Blue get on the field because if not, now you're back into the draft. Now you're going to draft a running back because as much as I like Javonte Williams, if he wants $6-7 million a year, I'm moving on.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's going to be a cutoff there. Yep.
I want to see if Flournoy could actually be a wide receiver without Pickens and Lamb on the field. I know he could be good when those two are on the field. Most third wide receivers would. I want to see if he could actually do it. Mingo, forget it. They got to move on from that guy. That guy just can't play. And that's it. You know, you keep talking about, which I do not agree, that you carry over to next season. To me, that doesn't happen. These guys don't carry it over. Soon as the season's over, they're in Cabo. So I don't believe that. I don't think anything carries over. But if you believe that, then get a head start. Can Guyton play right tackle? Because I don't think they're going to have Steele next year. Maybe you move Guyton to right tackle. Maybe you move Tyler Smith to left tackle, and you could put Hoffman or Bass at left guard, and that would fix that left tackle spot. Or you keep Guyton there, and now you got to get you got to.
Yeah.
To me, you get the only good thing about being eliminated early is you could get a jump start on seeing some of these players for 3 games in real games, not preseason. So I don't know. I don't think they'll do it because you got a first-time head coach trying to have a winning record, you know, thinking that the fans are going to be like, oh, see, it was a good year. Me, absolutely not. But anyway, but that's just my opinion. I hope they lose out. I've seen too many teams win the last game, and it just blew the draft for them, and I don't want that to happen, especially this team relies on it so much.
All right. Appreciate the call, Rob. As always, keeping it honest. You don't have to agree, and I think you make some good points though. I mean, there's. I guess I always look at it like I see the benefit of what you're saying. I just like for that to be, if that's the result, fine. I don't like to make it the result. You know, like if you lose the last 3 games and okay, well now you're picking 10th. But I don't think you're trying to lose the games, you know what I mean? But I think that but what you're saying is it's just like a preseason game, you know, like you don't try to lose the game, but you're not trying to play all of your best players or even any of your best players. This one, a little different. Rosters not as big there, so we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it'll be it definitely will be interesting to see how things go the last 3 games. And I don't think you're wrong by saying that, you know, Shoddy would want to be 8-8-1, you know, or at this point, I mean, like to have a winning record, not 9-7-1. Go for it. Go for a winning record. I mean, one and honestly, why shouldn't he? Because the thing about it is that as fans, you know these guys say, well, I don't care. I want to go for next year. You know, whatever. I want to have the better pick and all that. But in 3 years from now, if it's not going well, and let's say Shoddy's on the fence, you know, here's his record, or he's never had a winning season. No one ever does that. No one says, well, that first year doesn't really count because, they could have had a winning season, but they chose not to. No one does that. It's just, what's your record, So, and that stuff matters. It matters down the road. So why shouldn't these coaches, assistant coaches, players that are on the fence, they're going to give everything that they have to do that. And I don't know if there's contract situations as far as, incentives and things like that. I'm sure Jake Ferguson wouldn't mind playing a little bit more as well. All right, let's go to Isaac in Amarillo. What's up, Isaac?
Hey, Mr. Nick. First-time caller here.
There we go. There you go, Isaac. That's how you lay out. Love it.
Hey, yes, sir. Right on. Hey, number one, sir, just want to tell you and Mr. Chris, thank you for everything that y'all do. Can't imagine how many hours y'all put into it. And even, of course, in seasons like this, y'all make it worth it. So thank you. And definitely had a question, too. MVP voting. So watching Good Morning Football this morning, maybe I shouldn't have. I know it's a little bit more sensational media when you tune into stuff like that. But one of the commentators, won't name his name, made a comment. Look at Dak Prescott. He's thrown for 4,000 yards. Look how his season's going. It just kind of seems like they were never really going to consider him for MVP. Meanwhile, of course, around the league, you have the Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons. Sir, you've been in the league a long time. Do you think Dak ever really had a chance to win MVP this season?
Sure.
Just want to get your thoughts. I'll hang up and listen, sir.
All right. Appreciate it. No, I mean, you've got to get in the playoffs. You've got to win games. And if they would have won games, then yeah, because especially with the defense being so bad, of course, I mean, he had a shot. Look how valuable that. And think about what it is. It's the most valuable player. This guy was able, if it were to happen, this guy was able to single-handedly basically carry the team into the playoffs, win the division, do all that stuff. But they didn't. I mean, they did it. I mean, and I'm not putting this on Dak. I'm just saying it's very difficult to do that. I mean, they're the worst defense, the worst pass defense in the league. They rank, I think, 29th overall in defense. But they're one of the worst. They've been one of the worst all year long. They can't stop anyone. These quarterbacks that aren't very good have had their best games against the Cowboys. If the Cowboys were just below average on defense, just not that good, 20s, they would have won 2 or 3 more football games this year. And then by doing that, you're what are they, 6-7-1? Say they win 3 more games, then they're 9-4-1. I mean, yeah. I mean, he'd be right there with everyone else, especially because it would only be because of the offense, and the defense would just be average to below average. Yeah, he would have had a shot because of the numbers and then the way he was playing and all that. But you can't. I mean, it's just like in Heisman. You know what I mean? You can lose 1 or 2 maybe. You can't win. You can't be like 7-5, barely bowl eligible, and win the Heisman because you're not the best. If you were, you would have helped win some of those games. Let's don't act like Dak didn't have a few plays here and there that they could have maybe changed some things around. All right, let's go to Randy in Texarkana, Arkansas.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Man, I'm just picking them up, putting them down. Had this surging urge to call you.
All right.
See what's happening. Hey, so do you think, let me get deep with this, figure out how to say it so it makes sense. We have been consistently inconsistent over the last handful of years, and I know that we've had good winning records, but it's all resulted the same. Do you think that part of the problem might be all of the one-year rented players that are C-rated players at best, instead of going after more steady, higher profile? Let me use an example of what I'm trying to say. When I was a kid, I went and bought some really high-end Jordans, and my brother was like, man, that was stupid buying those shoes for that much money when I can go over here to Payless and get me 3 or 4 of these real cheap ones. But the problem is those 3 or 4 real cheap ones, he'd blow them things out in less than a year, and my good Jordans that I paid for have lasted me for several years one time. So should they concentrate on going after a little bit better quality of player and holding on to them instead of just having a handful of one-year rented players every year?
Yeah, it depends on how hard are you on your shoes. Are you running around, jumping around in the mud all the time? Because if you're going to do
Not
that
in the
anyways,
Jordans. Not in the Jordans. You
okay,
ain't.
so you're going to protect your shoe. Because if not, because imagine putting all the money into this, and then all of a sudden the shoe, like the tongue, fell off. Michael Parsons. So if something like that happens, and you invest it into one person, one shoe, and then it doesn't work out. Now you're really screwed because you don't have any money to go get another shoe in the first round of shoes next year.
Right, but I'm not talking about going out and getting the $100 million contracts, but just
I know what you're saying, and
quality mid-level, a little better than mid-level player instead of just guys that are hanging on for dear life. You know?
No, I think that's a very well put and a good question. I like it. I like what you're thinking, Randy. Hope you're doing well. You doing good?
I'm doing good, man. Doing great.
Good.
My
All
old
right.
back ain't acting right, but other than that, I'm doing good.
All right. Well, appreciate the call. And this is that time of year where, we're about a week out. So you kind of say Merry Christmas to everyone. You never know if they're going to get the call back. Thanks, Randy, for the call always. And I like that. I mean, thinking about that a little bit. Should they invest, a little bit more high-end player and not. And I think that they've done a little bit of both. They've done that at times. They really don't do that with free agency, but they kind of. I mean, you could say of the Pickens thing. Pickens is kind of blown up this year, but I mean, they traded a third-round pick. I mean, they traded a fourth-round pick for Mingo, traded a third-round pick for Pickens. So they did that a little bit. And they traded for Quinnen Williams. So they have kind of done that a little bit. And go back to what Rob said real quick about the draft and how with you can't rebuild with a quarterback like that. You kind of reload. And I think he's right. But I also think if you think about what the Cowboys did, they traded Micah Parsons for 2 picks for 2 first-round picks next year. So that is kind of rebuilding. But they've turned one of those picks into Quinnen Williams, so they did kind of reload, and they didn't really wait till next year to do it. So, yes, I agree with you here, but it's not just black and white. There was a little gray in this. All right, let's go to Evan in the Colony. I think I know this guy.
Hey, bro.
What is up?
Man. First time caller. Here you go.
Not to me, but I think I talked to you the other day. How's the film? This is my brother, by the way. Remember the guys I gave a shout out to, and I'm glad you didn't get in a fight walking back from the game. And you were feeling it though. That you were so pumped about beating the Chiefs and beating Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. I lost my voice saying, here we go, all day. It was a lot of fun.
So I'm glad we gave you the here we go. What's up, man?
I haven't called because I've been so intimidated. You have the smartest callers on your show, and this is advanced cowboy talk. And I just never really thought that I was really up to it, and I'm going to dumb it down. And so just bear with me. I've really been kind of disappointed in the last couple of games, and I think a lot of it has to do with consistency, and it really brought to me in mind a movie that Bull Durham. Now, I know that's a baseball movie, but just bear with me.
Yeah.
There's a scene where the manager can't reach the players, and he goes to Kevin Costner's character, Crash, and Crash says, scare him.
Scare him, yeah.
And then he goes into the locker room when they're taking a shower and throws an armload of baseball bats in the shower and yells and cusses at him. And I just wondered what your thoughts are. Can we motivate these guys this way, or can we scare them into getting a 9-7-1?
Yeah.
I mean, Shotty is so good at motivating after the fact. I love his motivation, but I would like to see a little bit of fear and to get some motivation that way so that we can get a 9-7-1. I would really like that.
All right.
Also, and just let you know, dude, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, bud.
I am not only your number one fan, but I'm probably your first fan. And I just want you to know that, man. Never forget that.
All right.
Love you, bro.
Thanks,
Go
man.
Cowboys.
Appreciate it, man. Great call. I love that. Hey, Chris, let's give another. Here we go. No. I mean, especially if he was yelling it all game. I love that analogy about, scaring the player. Now, here's the difference, though, is that those were minor league baseball players this was their job, their dream, no contracts that were like guaranteed and all that. And you know who wasn't in that shower scene? And I'm sure that there's a lot of women that would have liked to seen this, but Kevin Costner wasn't in there. The veteran, old player, I don't think he was in that shower. I don't think he was the one getting scared. You weren't scaring him because he was a veteran. He was like, I'm good. What are you going to do? Cut me? Fine, whatever. Unfortunately, that's kind of what I think would happen to most of the players when you have guaranteed stuff like that. I mean, Bill Parcells did this. Bill Parcells, that was his tactic. He tried. It's just hard to necessarily do that now. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. We do have one more caller. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for you. Gillette's Best Shave has a new look this season, and they've got one that's decked out in Cowboys colors just for us. We're going to want to run, not walk to this one, y'all. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor isn't just Gillette's best shave. With 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, it's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave is also available as heated.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storyline, presented by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. Got time for another caller here. We got Sergeant Sue in Fort Worth. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? Hey, quick question, man. Is Maffa shut down for the year? I tried to look and I couldn't find anything. I appreciate you taking my call, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate you being quick in and out. Make sure and call next week so we can talk. I know you got more things to say. Thank you. Phil Maffa, I don't think he's shut down for the season. I mean, I think he's been on IR. They can move him off of that. We'll see if he's ready to practice. Javonte Williams banged up a little bit last week. We'll see if he's ready to go. I mean, I think that the Cowboys would like to play him, but this is the time to play Maffa. This is the time to play Jaden Blue. These are the times, we talked about this during the show, these are the time where you're going to see some of these young guys a little bit more, and maybe Maffa is one of them. All right, guys, great show. I really appreciate all the calls. Good stuff. We still got 3 games to go. I know everyone's looking to the future, but still, we'll focus on the Chargers this week. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see. We do this every day, 10 a.m. We'll see you next time on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!